Let's talk about AI. That's my picture right there. I actually did that on purpose. Let's talk about it. Actually, good morning, everybody. It is John, the real John, not AI John, and this is House Edge Live, the real House Edge Live, not some AI generated TV show. But yeah, I used to be anti AI in lots of ways, right? Like, and I still kind of am. Let's actually peel it back a little bit. So I use AI every day. Like in my job, I need it. Like I'm a coder, as you know. I write contracts all the time. I'm writing documentation all the time. I love taking AI and saying, look, here's this code that I wrote. Go write me a document on it. Go write me a how-to for a new user and write me a tech doc for a coder. It'll do it for me. And it does a pretty good job for the most part, right? I really don't like the AI slop that I see, on Facebook and whatever else. And I really don't love AI thumbnails. And we talked about this a couple weeks ago. I give Ken a lot of shit for it because they all look the same, right? The AI thumbnails all do look the same. And how do I say this right? You kind of need them a little bit because YouTube, the way YouTube works, it's not about you guys. And I love all of you, Dice Dr. Dan and Joe, right? And Hondo and all the people that are out here, right? I love all you guys, but you're going to watch me anyway, hopefully, right? Like if you're subscribed to me, and I put a video out, you get the notification, you click the thing on your phone, you don't even look at the thumbnail, ever, most of you. But the new people that are out there searching for related items to craps or whatever, they are the ones that the thumbnail's for. So YouTube really favors, and if I do a side by, and they have a thing now where you can do a side by side. So you probably don't see this behind the scenes, but I can do a normal thumbnail, like just words and stuff, and one with the AI John on it. The AI John thumbnail is a 3-to-1 performer versus the other one. If you look at the traffic that I get, the number of people who watch and start videos, it's amazing how much that matters and how much it matters that your face is on there, right? They've been saying that for years and years and years. I never really did it. But if you put your face on it and the face kind of matches the vibe of the video, like surprise or shock or anger or whatever it's going to be, then it really drives people to watch the videos. Right. It is what it is. You can't fight City Hall all the time. Right. And I think at the end of all that, too, it comes down to, it's not really a financial decision so much, but the more views we get on a video, the more people that watch what I'm saying, the more money I can make. Let's just be frank about that. Right. And we're not talking about a lot. We're talking about from making $170 a month to making, $270 a month. It isn't like it's a lot of money we're talking about, but if I can triple the view on a video and it's a bunch of new people coming in, that increases the potential money that a video can make. And I don't have to sit here and try and charge you all for stuff. Like I'm not going to, you know what I mean? I have memberships, but I don't really push them because I don't have anything behind the paywall. Everything I do is free. If I ever did something behind a paywall, it wouldn't be on YouTube. It would be a separate course that I do on some other website, right? So by trying to keep it like I don't beg for memberships, I don't try and sell you stuff, certainly won't sell you a strategy. The only thing we have is traffic, and I need people to watch videos. So yes, I will do AI John on the videos if it continues to work and bring people in. So anyway, Dan, do you like the pictures or do we not like the pictures? I mean, I think they make me look pretty good. They probably take about 5 years, 10 years off of me. I look a little bit more muscular than I am in real life, but I think they're kind of cool, actually. And I've got, if I show you the cut sheet, I'll show you the cut sheet if you want to see it. I've got like 30 of them. So I did like all these poses and I've got like 30 of me making all these different faces and shit. So it's actually kind of funny. Anyway, that's not why you're here. Let's talk about the envelopes. Wyoming Dice is going to fill the master envelope. Good job, man. Yeah, right. Seriously, Joe, it takes a lot, right? It takes a lot to make anything on YouTube. Anyway, so I'm learning 5 years, 6 years in, I'm learning more and more how to really tune it, without doing too much work. So anyway, let's get to the topic of the day here. And we've been talking this week, a little bit last week, but this week here about kind of this trajectory that a player's on in a session. This is more like a session trajectory video, I guess, right? Or a session trajectory series. And the questions that I was asking were like, okay, how do you get to goal? What happens when you're down? What do you do when you're at goal and up, kind of a thing? And I wanted to kind of talk about the mental state that we go through in those moments so that we can potentially, do a little better job at the casino, right? Because the casinos are trying to take all your dough. I mean, there's no two ways around it, right? The business model of a casino is to empty your pockets. And I was telling friends of mine the other day, I did have a conversation with a casino boss, right? And I asked a lot of interesting questions of him. And one of the things that they all feel the same way is this will shock you a little bit, probably. Maybe not to hear. Hey, if everybody played like you, we'd be out of business, right? And he was joking about it the way he said it, but he was also telling the truth. And what he means by that is this. Most every game, you can get an edge on it. Not an edge, but a probabilistic edge. And he used roulette. He said, look at roulette. He said, you can go out there on roulette right now and bet 2 dozens, right? And have the hammer. You've got a 2/3 chance to win, minus the zeros. You have a probabilistic advantage over me. And I would look at that and saying, craps, if I bet a cross, I have an 80% chance to get a hit, right? You have a 65% chance to get that same hit in roulette by covering a couple dozens. You have that chance. The casino doesn't have very many bets, except for blackjack and baccarat, actually, where they have the advantage to win the play and your money, right? On a 1-to-1 bet, you in other games can have more advantage, but they don't care about that. And they don't care about that because most people don't leave when they're up. He said if everybody used that advantage and left when they were up, we'd go out of business. I want you to think about that statement. Think about that statement. If everybody used that advantage, probabilistic advantage, and left when they were up, they would go out of business, but they know that you won't. The psychology of the casino, the lights, the sounds, the free drinks, the everything about it, the atmosphere, the fun, the good, all the things that happens in a casino are there to keep you there. For them, it's all about ass and chair. That's all they care about is ass and chair. The longer you're there, the better they do, because you will take that advantage and blow it up. You'll take your wins and give them back, and they know it. They fucking know it. We have this. I teach this every day. My life is different. There's no more, very rarely, of me teaching you a new crap strategy. Maybe I'll try some things out, or I'll show people's strategies as a thing to do. But honestly, it's all about this stuff, right? How does your bankroll play in that world? How do you view risk in that world? Are you intelligent enough to play the games? Do you have that discipline to walk when you're up? Do you set a goal so you know when you're up and it's time to walk? And are you emotionally divested or disconnected from the whole thing and where you can just do it? It's so freaking hard. This is not easy to do, by the way. I make this look really easy every day. I'm out here and I'm, whatever. I talk through it. I give great examples and blah, 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 but it ain't easy in real life. People who play with me in real life will tell you that I can do it, right? Most of them say John does that. But let me tell you something. It ain't easy. John ain't loving life out there leaving with a little bit of money and walking away from a table. I'd rather play, but I do enjoy my money. So anyway, let's hop into a quick review. And I found this interesting. The first thing we talked about was keeping your eyes on the prize, right? How do you get to goal? And whatever your game was, this is on Monday, right? Whatever your game is, right? Whatever you're playing, what does your move cost? So, okay, my move cost $110 or whatever it's going to be. My move cost that. What does it earn when it works? So those are 2 questions you got to know. My move cost me this, right? It earns this. And the next question is kind of a 2 question. How many moves can I afford with my bankroll? And I think the other thing is how many moves do I need to get to that goal? Those kind of questions are I know it cost me 110. I know it makes me 70. My goal is 250. I need 3.5 of those things. I need to make that thing work a few times. Know that going in. Goal is not just a dollar figure. Goal is like my moves got to work 2 or 3 times or whatever your dollar amounts are. Okay. If you're laddering, the conversation changes. But those are your basic questions to get to the goal. Now, let's say you get beat. You get beat and you got to climb your way back out of the hole. Guess what? It's the same questions. What move are you going to use to get out of the hole? What does it cost? How many of them do you have? Are you laddering? If you're laddering, is my bankroll still okay? Do I have enough money in my bankroll to keep the ladder going? If you don't, then you either leave or you switch out. Interesting. The same questions get you to goal and get you out of the hole. It's the same mindset. It's just different goals. When you're in the hole, your goal is not the win. Your goal is cut the loss, cut the loss, cut the loss, get even. Now we can reset and go for the win. But when you're down, the difference is what are you looking at? What is your goal? Okay. When you're not yet at goal, right? Your goal is to get to goal. When you're down, your goal is to get back to even, or at least an acceptable loss. Well, today we're going to have the fun. Today we're going to have the fun. I want to talk about when are we going to get there? When you're at goal or over goal, keep on playing. This is where Ken and I differ, right? At goal, I think we both agree. We lock it up. Both of us will say, lock up your goal. Make sure you're walking away with money. Be the guy the casino hates. Walk away with your goal money, okay? With the excess, whether it's a new session of excess or extending the current session, here's your questions. And they do change a little bit, okay? Because the move you're going to make in an excess situation is probably different than the move you're going to make to get there, okay? But the questions are this: are you satisfied? At some point, you got to be like, I'm okay with what I have in the rack. And I'm going to give you some interesting examples of that today, okay? Am I satisfied? Okay? The second thing is, can I disconnect from what's happening on the table? Okay? For example, we can use craps as an example. Simple one, right? Let's say your goal was 250. Okay? And let's say that you won from your move 350. So you had the extra $100 and you lock up your original bankroll, you lock up your 250, you say, I'm good with that. I'm satisfied with that. No matter what happens, I'm satisfied there. Then you're playing. All right. And you catch a streak, whether it's whatever game it is, you catch a streak. And let's say that streak results in you collecting another $100 in the rack. So now you have 350 and you got $700 out there. Right. Can you disconnect from the 700 and say that $700 that's out there, I'm willing to lose it. I'm satisfied with the 350. I'm going to put the 700 at risk and I'm going to disconnect that from my rack. Say that's the tool to get me the thing. If you can't disconnect, if that answer is no, then take the $700 off the table and go home or reset. If you can disconnect, then use that as a tool to accelerate, and I won't judge you for it. Some people will judge you for it. I won't judge you for it. But that's a question you have to ask. Am I satisfied with what's in the rack so that I can disconnect with what's on the table? Really important question. And then what's your exit plan? At what point are you done? Are you done with this current streak? When it's over, are you done? Or are you going to try and do a happy thing and make it keep going? One thing from John Patrick. I watched a bunch of John Patrick videos when I was, or not watch. I can't say watch. I listened to a lot of John Patrick videos when I was driving to Vegas and back. When I go down there, it's a 15-hour drive. So when I go to Vegas on my work trips, I basically download half of YouTube and I just put it in the car stereo and listen to it as I drive. One thing he said, which stuck with me, and maybe this is part of the reason why I'm built the way I am, is this. He said, make sure, he said, one of the rules I'm going to give you is to lose your last bet. Think about that for a minute. John Patrick said, you must always lose your last bet. How about that? I want you to chew on that for a second. Chew on that, and in chat, tell me what you think about when you hear that. Lose your last bet. John didn't want you to walk away from a good streak. He said, if you're in a streak, run the streak until the streak ends. Lose your last one, right? Play, get to your goal, hammer them with excess, and as soon as the streak is forming and you're in it, work it to the end. Lose the last bet that you placed, then you walk away. My exit plan, personally, is that. Lose my last bet, let the streak play itself out, and when it's over, evaluate. And then I say, am I satisfied? And if I'm satisfied, I'm gone. Generally speaking, if I've already hit my goal, If I've already hit my goal, I am satisfied. So therefore I must leave. That's how I answer those questions. If I'm at goal and I'm still playing with excess, I'm already satisfied. So whatever happens in that next little round, I'm out no matter what. I can disconnect from the fear of missing out. I can disconnect from the money on the table, and I can disconnect from whatever else is going on around me. My exit plan is to get the hell out of there. So there you go. Can you take down a ton on the table on a hot roll? Can I do it? I can do it. I don't normally, but I can. Some people will do a double, a triple, a quad regression because the money out there makes them too nervous. And I can appreciate that because it's earned income, right? Let's go to the table. Let's go on down here and we'll talk through a couple of these simple kind of examples. Okay, here we go. Let's get some money out here. Let's put the rack out, I guess, right? And I know you guys can see. I'll put it over here. Yeah, put it there. Let me get some chips. Let's see, how much chips do we need? Let's just do this. Let's just say that we've got. I'm just gonna put a bunch of random money out here. So let's just say we got $1,000 and $250 in profit. Let's put this out here. Get some that, get some reds. Okay. Let's say that we got this situation. Oh my God, John. Look at me with the chips. All right. Let's say that we're here. Let's say that by some miracle, okay, we got back our starting bankroll of 500, 1,000. There's our starting bankroll. Maybe I should put it over here so you can see better. Okay. By some miracle, we hit our goal of $250. There's the 250. There's our starting bankroll. There's our 250. That's our profit. That's our lock. Okay, we're gonna lock up 250 and say, yeah, we are the champions of the world. Okay. First question I asked you was, am I satisfied? Yes, I'm satisfied with that. 100% satisfied. In fact, I move it back over here so I never touch it. I'll work out of the front of my rack now. Okay. By some whatever happenstance, I happen to earn an extra $110. What do you know? Right? I earned 110 extra dollars, but imagine that on a craps table, right? So this is excess. We talked about this last week. We're going to assume that the answer to the question is you don't need it. We'll assume that your master home bankroll is good. You had 10,000, you still got 10,000, right? We're going to assume that you're going to put this 1,000 back and that makes it 10,000. You're even in the master bankroll. Your profit account has money in it. Your excess account's got all your envelopes are filled, or they're filling, and they have stuff in them. So this 250 is actually profit. This is real legitimate. I don't need to recover a previous loss. This is my actual. I'm going to put this in the excess in the profit envelope when I get home. That's legit. You don't need it money. Okay. And then you got this. So I don't have to use this to cover anything else at home. All right. Pure excess play. Now, if I take this excess play and we go out and we ask those questions, what's my move cost? Move cost 110. What does the move earn? It earns $70. How many can I afford? I can afford one in this situation. I can afford one. I may have this move. I may be here on the outsides. It could be whatever I want to be, right? I could be, a $48 6 and 8. It could be whatever I want the move to be. This could be anything I want. Okay. We can do 110 just to kind of make it easy on ourselves. But if I was in here and say, we're going to take a 6 and 8 shot, right? We'll take these over here and we'll do a $48 6 and 8. Let's do that. I got to get 10 and I gotta hate having 3-color bets. The worst thing in the world is a 3-color bet, isn't it? Let's see. There's $48. Okay, there's your $48. And I've got whatever, $24 in the racks though, right? So I got $48 6 and 8. And that's my move. My move is going to be, let's just take a shot on a big shot on these two numbers. Okay. Actually I did that wrong. It should be 48. Sorry. My stacks look small. All right. So first question was, am I satisfied with this? Right? If we pop a 7 here, am I okay with just walking away with a little bit extra? Sure. Because that was a shot in the dark anyway. This is a who cares bet anyway, right? It's Ken will call it an FU bet, right? I'm okay with this being my profit level. And if one of these things happens to hit 55 for $56, and I do something with that money, this 50, maybe I grab the 5 and the 9 and I start building myself out a little bit. Maybe the 5 or 9 hits for 35 bucks. And I make it, right? And I press it. And maybe this one here hits for 50 bucks and I make it look like 75 and I take some money back. And maybe I even take these nickels and I repress them and I power press. Now I got 75, 75 and still got the 50 bucks in here. I'm burning this, but who cares? Right? This is what I'm asking you. Am I satisfied with this? If I am, then I can do some of this. If I'm not satisfied with this, or am I satisfied with the $5 that I brought back off this home run try, I'm okay leaving this out here because I know that 75 pays 105. And if I did that, now I've got the 110 back and I'm still jacking out here. I'm playing hard out here. This is the beautiful thing. That's what I'm talking about when I say, am I satisfied with this? I'm already satisfied with that. Am I satisfied with what's here? And let's say that we keep going. Let's say that the shooter is on a hottie, right? And this wins your 105 again. And I make it look like 125 on the 5, and I make the 9 look like 125. And let's say we're just balling here. I only took back $5. And some people are out there right now going, holy crap. You got only $100 in the rack. You got 200 and change out here. And let's say that this wins. Again, 50. You're on this heater, $56 on a 6 or an 8, and you make it look like 90. Right? And you're bringing back a couple of pennies. Who cares about the pennies? Right? Are you satisfied with that plus this? Is it okay for you to disconnect from what's out here on the felt? Can you disconnect from this and say, this is a tool to turn the first 110 into 1,000? And let's say that it keeps on going. Let's pretend another 56 on the other one. And the 8 now goes to 90. Same deal. You're bringing back just a couple of bucks. Just a couple of little tiny things. Same question. You got more money out here than you do here. Right? You got 125, 125, 250, and 90, and 90. 350, 400, you got whatever. 430 bucks, whatever it is out here. 430 out here, and you got 150 in here. Not even 150. You probably got 100. Let's color it up. Let's just see what we have in this rack. I got, I think, 1/4 worth of reds. I got 140 bucks in the rack. There, I brought back 140 on this crazy roll. And again, craps is made for this kind of stuff. I'm on this crazy run. Right? I got 140 bucks. I turned 110 basically into an extra, what is this? $25, $33. Right? Effectively, I've turned 110 into 33. Right? If I were to lock that 110 up back here and say, look, we're totally taking that home. Right? I'm not going to be a complete degen. I'm going to take that home. There's my starting bankroll, my initial goal, and then here's some excess over here. I'm taking that with me for sure. I'm satisfied with that. Am I satisfied with the $110 coming back that I'd earned in the first place anyway, and leaving 400 and change out here in exchange for the chance to have a real hit? Are you okay with that? That's what I asked earlier. Am I satisfied with this? And if I am, this is okay. If I'm not satisfied with this, this is not okay. This has to come down to 110 or something else, and you can actually bring it down to 110 if you want to, and do that regression, and you're going to lock up 100, 200, 320 bucks. And flip the script. Now I'm going to bring back 320 plus 110. Now I'm bringing back the 430, and I've turned 110 into 430 coming home. Or I'm going to say, nope, I'm here to make this happen. This excess was to make this happen. I'm going to let the tool work its magic. And so when I catch 175 on a 5 and I make it look like 200 and bring back 100 bucks, now this, what I'm satisfied with, gets bigger and bigger all the time. And it gets bigger by bigger chunks all the time, because if that happens to hit for 280, I'm in that same spot. I've got that 400 and change that I was considering pulling down. I just made it on a couple of extra shots. Now I got 400 and change out here. I got 400 and change out here. Am I happy? Now my ratio is good and I'm happy with that, right? These are the questions that you have to ask yourself. Am I okay with having more money out here than I brought back in that early round to let this money do its work? And if you're not okay with that, I'm not going to judge you. If you're not okay with it, then pull it back, regress it, and lock up some extra money. Do a regression with your profits. Lock up the money. If you're not okay with this ratio being bigger, if you weren't okay here, I'll undo that. If you weren't okay, fix my stacks here. If you weren't okay with having 110 in the rack and $400 out here, if that ratio drives you insane, and I know that for some people it does, then regress this. Make yourself feel better. If you don't like having more out here, I'll put this back in the front, then you have that you've collected. If you don't like that, get out of it. But if you're going to say, look, I use the 110, I'm going to make it do its thing for me. It's a tool to get me to an end. Then leave it out here and let it do its thing. Give it a chance to breathe. Okay. Again, any game that we talk through, I can ask you the same. And again, I'm asking you the questions because you have to ask yourself the questions. I'm trying to get you to a point where you can ask yourself. Let's say again that we have this. Let's say that we had that $110. I'm at goal and I'm all good, right? Up into the rack we go. Let's say that I'm playing a different game. Let's say I'm playing whatever. I'm playing roulette. Okay. And I take two of these, right? And we go, we're gonna crack the dozens. Here we go. Dozen one, dozen two, right? And we hit one. We lose a dozen, right? But you win a couple. Okay, cool. We're gonna go back out there. Maybe you do something like press the one that hit, like this. Okay? So let's say that one loses, but that one wins. You're in the same situation. You flip them. This one, oh, that one wins. Look at that. It wins 100. You lose that one. Now you can go 2 each as your starting point and pull back $50. You get your money back. Now you're playing this, right? These things win. Guess what? Stack the one that won. You can work a little press system on your roulette table like this. And again, you've only got $100 in the rack. All you've done is got your money back so far. I got 110 there. I got 150 out here. God forbid that thing over there wins 2 blacks. And now you're here. 2 blacks as your base. Still, right? Maybe you go 150 each. You run this as hot streak as long as you can. I got 110 in the rack. I got 300 out here. Are you okay with the ratio being upside down? Because this, if you hit a dozen, will pay you an extra 150, right? You'll get paid 150 and 150 for the one that won, right? And now, where are we? We can go blacks, right? I can even go 2 blacks and 2 blacks and reset it and bring back another $50. And now I'm 200 per dozen, and I've only still got in my rack 100, and there's the 110 we started with. I got 50. I made $50, and all that I made $50 on the roulette table. But I got $200 on both dozens now, right? Am I okay with the ratio being backwards? I got 400 versus 50, effectively. You okay with that? Or do you need to pull this 400 back and reset it to 25 and 25? Are you okay? Do you need to bring back the 4 to make your heart stop racing? If you do, then do. That's okay. I'm not going to ever judge that. And I wouldn't expect that you judge me for doing this. If I'm on pure excess and I don't need, quote unquote, the money, pure excess play, let it run until you lose the last bet. If I lose the last bet because the middle dozen came, okay, I got an extra $50 out of that. I started with 110, I got an extra $50 and I'm cool. I'm satisfied, I'm out of here. That's okay with me. If that's okay with you, do this. If that's not okay with you, if you're scared that the next one's going to be the one that gets you, then take your money back. But if not, that one wins 400, that one loses, and now you've got 600 out here from the same system, right? Maybe you lock up 5. Maybe 5 is a nice round number. I'll lock up $500 and I'll reset it from here. We'll go $75 per dozen with the excess and we'll call it good. Maybe I'll lock up this extra black chip here and we'll do this. We'll go 75 and 75 and keep the thing going. Keep the streak going. Lose your last bet. lose it, and now I'm out. There's an aggression to playing when you're up, right? And again, it's all ratioed. Am I satisfied with what I pulled? And if not, pull some more. If you're if you are satisfied with that, and so I'm okay with having 110 in the rack and 400 out. I'm okay with that because the chance that I have here to earn that extra juice is worth it. This was excess anyway. I'm happy with the extra 110 being put to work. If this makes you nervous, then don't do it. But if this is driving you, do it, but do it till it loses. If I catch the middle dozen and it goes away and I've only got the 110 I started that round with, I would say it's time to leave. I wouldn't put this at risk a second time. We gave it a shot. We had a streak. Fine. Walk away, be done, be satisfied. This is the difference between me and most people. I have that aggressive streak. I'll let that shit run for as long as I can. I'm satisfied with a little bit that I brought back anyway. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm taking the excess I already had, and I'm going to call that a win. Right? I got my 250 anyway. The excess that I tried the excess play. It didn't get me anything extra. Cool. Bye-bye. But it's a mental decision. It's a mental decision. And it works, again, everywhere. Let's take the same 110. Let's do it one more time. There's 110. Okay? You can take two cracks at a 1-3-2-4 with the 110 on a baccarat or blackjack or the don't pass. You got two shots at a 1-3-2-4. There's a 1-3, right? There's a 1-3. It may work, it may not work. You have four cracks at a 4 or 5 leg parlay, right? If you take four cracks at a parlay, something really, and I might even go super aggressive here. I might even say 1, right? And let it parlay itself up. That's hit number 1 on a blackjack or again, or don't pass. When it hits the second time, now I'll power press it and have a 5-unit bet out there. Okay, that was the second one, right? On the third hit, it pays 125. Now what? Well, I would probably bring back 100 because I've turned 110 now with the 106. I actually made more money with. There's the 110 I started with. I might even lock that up. I still have my second crack at this whole thing, right? And now I'm out here at 150, right? So for this third hit at 150, that would be a full parlay. Now watch, we're gonna get ratioed again here. Now I got $300 out here on that third hit. I got $50 that I've locked. 300 versus 50. Now I've already locked my excess and my initial goal. I'm satisfied with what I got back here. If this gets burned up on the next one, I'm okay with taking home an extra 160. Okay. However, if I'm in this mode, we'll let it run and we'll take the $300 win. And I'll hit number 4. I might actually lock up the 5. Lock up 500. It's a nice round number. Lock up $500. Go out there at 150 and let it run again until this bet loses. 150 pays 150. Looks like 3, right? We're on some magical hot streak and then it goes away. Satisfied. My exit plan always is to lose the last bet in the streak that I'm on and then walk. So whatever happens in here, right? If I go back a screen, let's go back over here again. I want you to see this. If we're in that situation, what's my exit plan? Is losing the last bet. My exit plan is run the streak that I'm in until it ends, no matter what happens. I'm not going to say, look, I pocketed the $500. I got 5 more cracks. Let's do it again. Let's take the $500 we earned in excess profit and do it again. No, that's what the casino wants. They want you to take your profits and reburn them. I'll take that one shot with the 110 that was excess from my initial goal. Let that thing cook a little bit. If it cooks, fantastic. If it doesn't cook, then I'm out. I'm already good. But that's here. That's a mental thing. You have to either be okay with that upside down ratio or not. And if you're not okay with it, you got to boogie. You cannot play. I watch, like I said, my good friend Ken will never do that. He will never do what I just showed you. He'll never take his excess and let it cook. He will regress his excess to lock money up because his brain won't allow him to be ratioed. He will not have double on the felt what he's got in the rack. His brain can't handle it. He doesn't like it. It gets his heart racing. It gives him agita, whatever. That's not his style. And he'll always pull it back or he'll always regress it down. Some people will never collect until they're at table max. Some people will say, I'm taking the 110 all the way to purple chips, baby. That's the other side of that. There are others like me who will march through it and make certain plays along the way. I'll regress when I get a nice round number because I like purple chips. Do that. But you got to work through it. Am I satisfied? Can I disconnect? Can I separate the fact that I've got more money on the felt than in my rack right now? Is that okay with me? And my exit plan is ride this wave until the wave crashes, and then I'm done. I'm not going to chase the next wave. I always liken this stuff to surfing. I used to surf when I was a kid. I'm not chasing the next wave. If I caught a wave, I ride the wave. When the wave comes down and I'm in the washing machine, get up, towel off, and go the hell home. That's it. That's mine. Again, you got to think about what you would do. I'm just trying to give you some examples of situations you can be in and really call it out. Like when you're here, what is your brain telling you? When you have $100 in the rack and $500 on the felt, is your brain telling you this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen? Give me that money. I earned it. Or is your brain telling you, God, I finally got money on the damn felt. I can really make some money. Which side of your brain's talking to you right now? And as long as you got this right here, as long as you're locked with your original money, with your original goal, and with a little bit excess locked up, if you're there, you have permission to make whatever decision is right for you at that moment. And I hope that makes sense. All right. Let me get some questions here and see if I sparked anything in the chats. Sorry for my gaze over here. Let's see what we got. So YouTube tells creators they need to make clickbait thumbnails. They do. I must be different because people don't click. So people really, people don't do that though, Gary. That's the thing. I'm the same way. I don't click on clickbait typically. I read part of the description a lot of times if I'm not sure of the person. But yeah, YouTube, it thrives on clickbait. So I try not to do clickbaity titles. I try to make them whatever. Interesting. Hammer the casino with your profits like today's title was. That's what we're doing. How do you hammer the casino with your profits? I'm not telling you how to get there, but it's a compelling title. Somebody new might watch this video and jump into the middle of our conversation and be like, what the hell is John talking about? Right? They'll get this and then they'll watch backwards and catch 3 more videos. That's what you're kind of hoping for, right? Anyway, it's a bitch. The algorithm is a bitch. And we're all fighting it. So it is what it is. Let's see. There is no way I'm mean as the AI makes me look. You know what? Ask my wife that question, or my son that question. It's funny. I used to be this like hyper. I think you change. I think you lose testosterone when you age. But when I was younger, I was a Philly boy, angry young man. I was getting in fights. I actually wrestled. My sport in high school was wrestling. I played football, but I got hurt really bad. So I didn't play football past freshman year, but I wrestled every year. So I was in this constant mode of trying to hurt people and being really angry all the time. Great outlet. I played heavy metal music because I was so angry. The reason why I love thrash is because I was so angry growing up that this was my face all the time. Always looking to pick a fight, not a fist fight, but a debate, right? In later years. I love to get angry. So for me, like I told you yesterday, when I was doing some counseling to like kind of not for anger, but just for general, that was some of the things that I worked on, right? And I told you this story yesterday. I worked on the whole goal thing, right? Like make sure I can touch things and make sure I wasn't this dreamer that was trying to, solve the world's problems in one swoop with my businesses and stuff, right? You learn some of those control things. Part of the anger management thing was this: I don't always have to win, right? I learned I don't always have to win when I'm debating. That debating sometimes, and I think if Justice Jen is at her, she'll tell you we've had some great debates in the car driving around in Vegas, right? We don't agree on almost anything, right? In some matters, right? But we never argued about it because I enjoy not winning the argument. I enjoy listening and trying to process. Even though I don't agree with what I'm hearing, I try and process what I'm hearing to formulate a better argument against it. That's what I enjoy now. That's why I love these kind of shows, when I talk about gambling, my emotional control is so much better. So yeah, I've learned over the years to enjoy debate, not seek out debate to be right all the time. I've learned to be less angry and find the joy and find the good in people. Right? It's as you age that happens. When I had my heart attack and all that, and you kind of get a new lease on life, you start thinking about, why was I so mad? Why was I so aggressive? Why was I so this, that? The next thing, really enjoy the people that are around you. Surround yourself with great people and enjoy them. That's been my life. And that's why I'm always happy now. You guys see me now, meet me in person, I'm always happy. That's the reason why, because I've given myself permission to be happy and I seek it out. There's no reason to be mad. But those thumbnails are actually John as that. Those are like young John. So that's actually funny that you noticed that. Let's see. After the goal of KKG's FU bet philosophy, but with a plan sort of thing. Let's see. Dice, that's a great rule. Watch many players color up right after a strong roll. A lot of players don't, though. A lot of players think like, this is a hot table, we're going to stay out there. You know what I'm saying? Did I know Spinelli's moved out of there? No kidding. Where they have a bigger place now? That's interesting, because Spinelli's, if you don't know it, in Vegas is a big casino supply house. That place was enormous. They have, by the way, it's like a museum in there, all the chips they've got, but they had like this warehouse in the back with all their tables. So they must have a bigger place. Hopefully they got a bigger place. That place was super, super cool. Yeah, the group meetups is a big problem, and casinos love it. Like, good example, you almost feel, Rich, like you're guilted into it. We were at the Casino Quest launch party last weekend, right? We had 140 people out there. We did the whole thing. They gave us food and blah, blah, blah. And then we all go out to play. Everybody feels obligated to play. Like, the casino hooked us up with a great room and great food, and the players feel like, oh, we got to go out there and play. And you play for too long. And that's why the casino does that. They don't give you a room and food because they're nice. They know you're going to stay and play afterwards because you feel like you ought to, and you'll stay too long. And the drop that day at the casino was probably one of their biggest drops of the year, because there was all of us out there doing DGen things. That's exactly why they love meetups. They love meetups. So, let's see. You can buy the lobster buffet at the Palms, but be content with John. That's true. That's very true, Skill. Let's see. Going through more stuff here. Sorry, I got to read as I'm scrolling here. So, Nozoki, now I know what that means, by the way. I got your email yesterday. You're doing a little 220 duck and cover, up 2,000 for August. What's the move for the following month? Do I start? Ooh, that's a great question. Great question. Can I go to my table? You guys mind? I want to answer this with chips. Let's do it. Let's go here. If you have to go to work, but I'm gonna do this with you. This is the idea of compounding. So I'm gonna basically do this in my shows coming up. But let's say that I've got this. Let's say that I did the thing. Okay. Let's reset the bankroll. And let's say that I did for Monday morning, right? I came into the casino and we did our duck and cover thing. Okay. Let's say that we did our $110 duck and cover. And if you haven't seen the shows, you'll know that if you pull duck and cover off 5 times and progress the bets, you'll be at a bigger number. Okay, $500. Okay, but let's actually just use 100. Let's just say that we have. We'll take 150 as the example. We'll take 150 to the casino. Okay, I'm going to buy in for 110, and I'll have drink money. Okay, if I do duck and cover at 110, okay, and it works. Let's say we get our 3 green hits, right? We get 35 on something. Quick demo, right? 35. There's that. I get 35 on the 9. We have that. We have 35 on something. Let's say the 5 hits, and we press it up to a quarter, and then we get the 35 on the 5. Okay, that's our day. Okay, and we're done. There's our 110. There's our $110 right there that we started with, and here's our profit for the day. Made about $100. Some days you'll make 70 or 105. Some days you'll make whatever. Okay. That's Monday. Tuesday, we come out and we compound it. We go out there at 220. Okay. There's 220 with $10 in lock. And 220, the same move, pays 75 for 5. One of them comes down. 75 for 5, and something else comes down. And then our third hit might only be a $35 hit, and we could be done for the day. Now we've got enough money to go out on Wednesday at 3:30. There's $330, and we've locked up 75 in profit. It takes 2 days to get to where you're locking profit. Now it's 105 and down to a quarter, and it's 105 and down to a quarter, and it's 105 in the middle this day. Okay, and we're here. That was that Wednesday? Now we're at 440. Thursday is 440. There's $100. There's the 440. And I brought back now 2 black chips. Profit is over here. 275 and change. Okay. Here at this day on Thursday, these are now paying 140. 125, 140 for one of them. Goes down to a quarter. The next one pays 100. We'll do 150 for 10. Comes down to a quarter. And the third one, let's just say it's 140, 125, 140. It all comes down. And then on Friday, we go out there at the big one. We go out there 550. 125, 125, 150. If I make these look like quarters. There. You bring back 300 now to your rack. God, what a miracle, right? And here, it's easy. It's 175. 175, and it comes down. The next one's 175, and it's down. Maybe you only get 35 in the third one. Maybe it's a shitty day and you get $35. Now, if this works, here's what's going to happen to you. Ready for this? If this works, by some miracle, you survive the entire week. Okay, there's a green chip. And reds. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 400 and change. There's 400, 500, 1,000, $1,525. If it works out, 15. Let's say that here's where you are, right? And you started out with 110, we started out with 150, right? That was our first thing, was 150, right? Cool. My bankroll now has $1,000 in it, $1,200, right? I've grown my master bankroll. The answer to the question is yes. Okay, if you're going to say, I'm going to use the bankroll to make the thing happen, then the answer to the question that Nozoki asked is yes. You level it up the next time. So the next week, I don't have to start at 110. I've earned 1,500, right? I could actually start this at 330 and be okay. I could start at 330 and have I can do 5 weeks of that starting at 330 instead of starting at 110. I can do 5 weeks of it where Monday is 330 because I've earned extra bullets up here, right? If it happens to pull it off again on my bankroll, and you'll see this, my theory always is I buy in for 10% of what's in the master bankroll. So if my master bankroll is 10 grand, the buy-in is 1,000. If the buy-in is 1,000, I'm going to use the whole 1,000, right? So in this case here, if I have $1,000, I'm trying to do that move. My first bet's probably not 110. The first bet's probably 440 or 550. I'm going to take half of it. We're going to go from 550 on Monday and try and work it from there. If this becomes 2,000, then it's 1,100 inside. You follow me? We're going to give it one shot to make its money every day, and that's it. So yes, the bets get ramped up based on the size of this, and this gets ramped up based on the size of what's in the master. When I made the $100,000 last year live, what I did was exactly that. When we got to 90 grand, I was buying in for $9,000. And my bet size was, I think we're doing 3,200 across at that point, right? Huge bets, but it was still the same ratio. It's always 10% out of my home master account. And then from that, whatever's in the rack, whatever the play is, it was either 50% or 30% of the rack on the felt at one time. I gave myself 2 or 3 chances a day to make the money. And that was it. My ratio was that 10% out of the master, 30% out of the rack. That was the move that we did. And if this goes up, if this is 1,000 today, if it's $9,000 in 6 weeks or 6 months, Then it's $9,000 here, and this becomes much bigger bets. Everything is the same ratio. And don't worry about the 110 or the 220. It's the ratio. How much of this am I putting at risk? I'll put a third of it at risk. Basically $500 if it's 1,500. $500 looks like 440 inside. That's how I would do that. So it's going to be a third or so of the buy-in, maybe half, depending on where I want to be on this level here. But this is always only 10% of what I have in the bank at home. Like my master bankroll, this is only 10% of that. So if I have 100K, this is 10. If I have 5,000, this is 500. And if it's 500, the risk level out here is probably 110. If this is 1,000, the risk level here is probably 330. So anyway, that's good question. I hope that's a good answer for you. But yeah, it's all, to me, it's all ratioed. I don't care about what the chip colors even are. It's 10% of what's in the bank comes to the casino, and 25, 30, or 50% of what's in the rack goes on the felt, depending on what strategy I'm playing. It's all percentages to me. I don't care what the colors of the chips are, because it's the same impact to me. If I buy in, if I have 10, I buy in for 1,000 and lose it. It's the same thing as if I had 100, bought in for 10 and lost it. Ratio wise, it's the same. And again, the question I asked you earlier was this. Let me go back over to the page over here. Can you disconnect from that? Right? Does your brain allow you to say 1,100 inside is a freakishly large betting, right? But if it's still represents 1% of your master bankroll, it's the same thing. A $10,000 bankroll with 110 inside is no different than a $100,000 bankroll and 1,100 inside. It's the same ratio. You have more buying power now. That's the difference. You have way more buying power when you increase the bet size. If your bankroll allows for it, I say do it. My advice to myself, let's call it that way. All right. What I mean that is my confirmation bias is the second regression makes a roll a heater. Without it, it dies. 100%. This is one of those things where, like, I don't believe in superstition, but I'm with you here. The minute you regress those bets down, off to the races they go. 100%, right? Nozoki, the 7 is coming, get out of it, take over and get the heck out, right? So you're regress and run. That's cool. That's cool. Waylon, hey man, how you doing? Waylon with the new logo over there. You shit canned my Waylon's Way Craps logo. That now becomes part of the Smithsonian, right? The one that I think only you and I have that shirt ever. That's got to go in like a museum somewhere. So let's see. Let's go Craps. Rolled out some 330 drawdown. Great strategy. And a messy 1-2-3-1-3-2-4 last night. Need some great rolls for $1,600 profit. You need to understand the 1-3-2-4 and the 6. Ooh, okay. It's the thing with that one is it takes money. So again, if we go down here and look at the 1-3-2-4, where's my table view? With the 6 and 8 or the 5 and 9, it's not terrible, but here's the thing, right? Let's take the 9. It wins 35. You have to power press the $15 to get it there, which makes this a $40 investment. So remember, you're in for 40, but you go 1-3, right? Now this is going to win 105, and it goes down to 2 at 50. Okay, 2 wins 70. We'll call it 75 for 5. Okay, and then it goes to 4. So it's always based on the initial bet. It looks like that. If the 4 wins for $140, okay, there's the 40 that you started it with, and you've got 350 in the rack. Effectively, it's 10 times the bet. The 1-3-2-4 should win you about 10 units because this pays 35. That's why it's 350. It's 10 times what you're going to win on the first bet is what that always pays you. So the 1-3-2-4 requires a $40 investment in the 5 and 9. The reward for that is 350 or 10x the initial win that you would have gotten. That's how that works here. But you need the 4 hits to get it done, right? This is where on the place bets and craps, it's a little different mentality-wise, right? So if I do this, let's reset everything here. You might be in this situation where you regress along the way. So 1, right? You power press it to make it look like a 3-unit bet. The first one's a power press, right? Then you get the 105, right? You might stay here. Make it a 1-3 and then a 3-4, right? Because you want to make sure you're collecting goodness on this. That 105 that you collected probably pays for everything that was already up here. So the 1-3 pays for, if you were 110 in, right? If you were here and you're 1-3-2-4ing on that one, this almost pays for this. You're still in $40. You need a hit somewhere else. If anything else wins $35, now you're out. There's your 40 that you needed for the 9, or there's your $15 power press rather. There's your 110 and you're out with some money. So play that smart up here. It might be a 1-3. So you take your 105 and then do a 3 again. Then regress and press. Then once you're here, that's time to go 105 down to 2 and then work it from there. Maybe you need your 6, right? But yeah, it works. You just got to take your plan for 10x. The 6 and 8, same thing. Let's do one of those. So then 30 pays 35. Okay. To get to 3, you got to drop a quarter out here. You got to power press by a quarter, just like you do on the regular 1-3-2-4 to get you to $90, and that wins you 105. Your regression is to 60, 2 units bet. 60 pays 70. It goes to a 4 unit bet, which is 120, which pays 150 for 10. We bring it back. It's 1, 2, 300, right? There's your 30 you started with. There's 25 that you added, right? And there's $350. Again, it always pays 10x what the initial bet paid. You should net 350 out of these or these. On the 4 and 10, it can be done, but it's tough, right? But the nice thing is 1 pays 2. It goes right to 3, which is fantastic, right? And that pays 150, right? You regress down to 2. You're still playing on, you've got your money, you never had a power press. You got your money back already, right? 2 pays 4, right? And your 4 bet, you bring in profit back on the 4 bet. And then of course it pays that, right? Your initial bet was $25. And again, 1, 2, 3, 4, $500, right? 10x the first win. The first one was 50. It pays 10 times that, right? That's the 1-3-2-4 on the place bets. It totally works, but you got to get 4 hits on a number before a 7, which is like a, absolute miracle. If you can pull it off, then God bless you, right? That's super hard to do. Hope that made some sense there. All right, let's see. Oh, you're between clients. If I'm being a pain, I apologize. At the email to support about the screen issue. Oh yeah, I got you. I'm sorry, I didn't write you back. My fault. Yeah, your problem is that your phone is zoomed in. You got your phone set to like 100% zoom, or your font size is enormous, and that makes the screen so big you can't scroll. That's what it is. I'll write you that too, so you know. Let's see here. Tier pressure mentality is what puts more money in the rack. Yeah, I understand. Right. And again, you skill are a person that would rather not have that high ratio out there. Right. The high ratio gets you the bigger black and purple chips, but it doesn't feed your heart. Your heart needs to have money coming in all the time. So you have to play your way. Right. And like I said, have a plan. What's your play plan? What's your exit plan? Next week, we're going to talk about pressing patterns and how to work like this 1-3-2-4. A little more, and patterns like that on all the numbers. Ultimately, pressing in craps and other games is all about patterns. What's the pressing pattern you're going to use? So, all right. Let's see. Ah, good. I'm glad that related for you. Sometimes we get into these conversations and it's like it's a little too much comes out, maybe. But I think it's good to know that we're all real people. So there it is. We all have much similar experiences for sure. Okay, I really gotta run. Waylon's like, can I show some 1-3-2-4 with the 4 and 10? I just did that, so now you saw that. Yeah, if you can pull it off at the $100 level, good God, right? That'll win 10 times 200. It'll win $2,000 at the black chip level. It's freaking awesome. Yeah, Waylon's Way Craft says Thursday and Friday are one hit and go. So when I do the 5-day thing, Waylon's like, screw all that. One hit, and we're out. Right? Again, what is your level of satisfaction with what's out there? That's what it all comes down to. Right? I love the thought process. So it's awesome. Yeah. All right. I think that's it. You need to have something to show. Yeah. Yeah, here you go. There's a John Patrickism, right? You got to have something in your rack for every bet one. Otherwise, your I'm is press it. I hear you. But again, the power of pressing is in accelerating the bigger, the black and the purple chips, right? If you're okay with what's in your rack, you can be an I'm is press it. You can press to get where you got to be. If you're not okay with what's in the rack and you're trying to build more money, you've got to pull money back. Mentality switch. It's just a mentality switch. All right. I'm out of here. Time for work. You guys have a great weekend. I got a couple of concerts this weekend. We're seeing a comedy show tonight and some country guy tomorrow night. So I'm going to be out with the wife a little bit, having some good time. So love y'all. God bless. See you Monday. Next week, it's all about pressing, baby. We'll have a good week and have some fun with some D-Gen style play, maybe from the real table. We'll see. In the meantime, God bless. Love y'all. Bye.